Hello and welcome back to another episode of Pixelmon server. Just as I started the recording there, a couple of oddish down below me started getting into a fight. That's alright. Today it's not gonna be a very long episode. We've only got two things to cover really. I'm gonna use the Pokeloots chest. You can see one here in my hand. We're gonna talk about how to place and load one of those, and then we're just gonna do a quick tour of everything that's happened so far, and hopefully soon we're gonna get our new builders on board and this thing's gonna explode with activity. So let's do those two things. Starting off here, we're on Route 102. And Route 102 is the first time we get to see an actual Pokeloot as far as the game is concerned, and it is, I believe, we're going to be right here. So all we need to do is left click, or excuse me, right click once we got the thing in our hand, and of course it places it. Now, as soon as Pixelmon sees you places it, it automatically, randomly puts something in it, and so you have no idea what's going on in there. In order to confirm exactly what you need to have it ready, but you're only not allowed to place one thing, which is, you know, again, the way Pokemon intended that to be. So here, I've got the potion already ready. That's what is supposed to be in there. The very first thing we come across out in the wild is a Pokeball with a potion in it, so we take the potion and we right-click right on that, and it says, Custom Poke Chest Set for the potion. So, next person that comes by and picks that up is going to get themselves a potion. Not too hard, right? Alright, so we are now going to do our tour here. Actually, let's go 50 in the air. I don't remember. Yeah, there we go. Alright, as we recognized, start the game in the back of the truck here. So that's where we would end up. We'd come back out of the truck, and we go, hey, look it, I know this place. And here's our house. Our house allows us to kind of run up to our room. And look, there's a button, because once we set the time, we're supposed to get our running shoes. I've already got my running shoes, so I don't need to press that button again. Come back down out of here. If you want to, you can go over your rival's house there, but it's not really necessary. It looks just the same as ours. For aesthetic, if you want to see it, we've got Professor Birch's lab. And in a little bit, we're going to have him standing here. Not quite ready to put him in yet, but that's where he would be. And that was from our mini episode. It's going to be gone by the time we release this. And I'm going to float here. Ordinarily I'd run, but I don't want... Actually, Trico's dead. Probably won't get encountered. So we start coming here in the routes, and we can see that we've got these guys already out and about in the grass. Remember that from the other episode. A little mean to each other. Okay. Then we come into Oldale Town. Oldale Town's supposed to look like a trailer park. It's, you know, citizens should be moving out to other cities, but they don't. They're sitting here. So we've got first of our kind of generic houses. Come in here, we're going to get a couple of NPCs to be in here. At the moment, it's just the interior. So that's what the inside of the first trailer looks like. And then, of course, our first beautiful Poke Center. Alright, so comes in. There's Joy would be right there. Coming up, and this is the areas where you would go when you're doing multiplayer stuff. Again, none of that's kind of hooked up. We also, coming across Oldale Town here, we are going to see our first Poke Shop. So this is the first place in the game where you'll be able to buy Pokeballs. Again, didn't put their NPC in here yet, but he'd be standing there behind the cash register. And we've got all the little stalls. Alright, let's come back out here. And that one would be just like the other. Well, I mean, it's not exactly. The interior is a bit different, but it's empty at the moment, so. Coming out here at Route 103, Professor Birch is going to say, why don't you go find my son or daughter? I don't remember. But they, when you find them, are going to be right there on that little gravelly path. So you come out here. And yes, in the game, you'd need surf to cross here. We're going to put up a barrier, so you'd have to show a certain badge level to get across there. But since we're not there yet, that part's not done. But we got all this part. So once you do the rival, you go back to Birch. Birch says, hey, now it's time to go to Petalburg. And Petalburg is off this way in Route 102. And we were here Route 102 when we were dealing with our trainers last time. So this is the first time we're going to encounter trainers. Also happy to announce in here, Magikarp. The water park Pokemon. This is the first time we get an actual Gen 3.
Magikarp.
And it's rare, so we might not actually see him today. But
Magikarp.
Crawdont is one of the ones available.
Magikarp.
Yeah, we just got
Magikarp.
Magikarps. But Crawdont is one of the ones that is available to come.
Magikarp.
One of them got stuck in a wall. We'll come back and check later.
Magikarp.
Coming around this way. That is a big Eevee. Holy cow.
Please?
And swinging around this way, as we just talked about, this is the first time we ever see a Pokeloot, so there that is. And this little patch, this is the one where you, oh, there he is. This is the first time you would get a more rare Pokemon. And we put up a Drowsy in here because ordinarily it would be a Ralts. And again, Ralts is not available yet, but you might catch yourself a Drowsy if you were here. Believe me, as soon as possible, we're going to switch out that Drowsy for a Ralts. So here we are in Petalburg. And there's our Poke Shop, which at the moment looks identical to the other one because we haven't placed the NPCs in there yet. Same goes for the Poke Center. And we've got all our little NPC houses. For the most part, they're pretty much like we saw. Oh, come on, right there in the center. There it goes. This one's a bit different, though. It's got this really wide open space. It's okay. We're going to have two guys talking there. Alright. And then, little house by the lake here. It's too bad. So much lake and no Pokemon in it. This is going to be the gym. For those of you who don't remember the story, you get up here and it turns out it's your dad that owns this gym. So he's going to be standing here and says, you're not ready to enter the gym. Come back when you know me. And so, yeah, in the progression of our story here, you would say, here's my badge, Dad. I'm ready to fight you. And then at that point, you would be allowed to go through the two doors in the back, but not right now. Here, it's just because I really like the look of this gym. I think it turned out pretty good. As you can see, this is a log cabin town. Our Petalburg turned out to be a log cabin, and Wally, again, it's a generic little house, but Wally himself lives in there. So that's what we got so far. One other bit that we are going to show you, just because I think it'll be interesting here. Uh-oh. Let's try 70 and 70. There it is. So this is our, we'll call it behind the scenes, back door. So whenever you click on those buttons, they go inside houses. This is where we get thrown off to. So this would be Little Root right here. There's your house, Rival's house, Professor Birch's. That's what these things look like when you don't really care what the exterior is about. This is all the interiors. So here we go over here to Oldale, generic house 1 and 2, shop, and our first Poke Center. We took this and we used that MC edit, if you remember from last time, and we copied it over here. And this is how we get the one in Petalburg. And that's that little part of the gym. Right here behind it is where we're going to build the rest of the gym when it becomes necessary. And there's that next one. We just showed that in the video there. So what we did, though, kind of off camera, is since they are all identical, it's just the NPCs inside them that change up. We used MC Edit and we copied the building and pasted them about 20 times a piece. So we've got all of our Poke Centers, we've got all of our shops, generic house 1, generic house 2, generic house 3, and we do have 2 others scheduled with their built, but they haven't been put on the list here, so they would be down here on this end. Wow. Chunks are having a hard time loading. Get down here to the very end, and we take the roof off of these, so someone that's here in edit mode can go quickly, oh, that's the one that I need, or that's the one that I need, that kind of thing. Alright. So that's it. That's pretty much the tour of Hoenn so far. On behalf of Sugar Packet Gaming, thank you so much for sticking with us. As I said, really soon here, we're going to start to have an explosion of builds since I've come to the point of the tutorials. Everything else now that we're going to do is pretty much just going to be building. So we're going to have a couple of specialty builds, and then we're going to have a couple of fast builds, or the time-lapse kind of builds that are going to just show you the way it is when Hoenn starts doing its thing, and when we're ready to finally start putting the NPCs and some other finishing touching around the world, that's when we'll bring you back in and do some more tutorials. But you don't want to miss it, so make sure you hit that subscribe button, hit the like button, just let us know that you enjoy what's going on around here. And again, this is Austin Easy with Sugar Packet Gaming. Till next time, bye.
Every challenge along our way, with courage we will face. We will battle every day to claim our rightful place.